Theresa motherfucking Davis, too. Look at all of y'all. Beautiful house tonight. Thank you for coming. Yes. Okay, folks, in the bookstore area. In the bookstore area. We're gonna get seated over here and start sharing words and stories and jokes and life and shit. Like is going on right now. I'm gonna kick it off, and then Theresa Davis is gonna follow, and a list is gonna appear on the music stand, and we'll go through the list. And if you all are not on the list, we will circulate that to you, or you can raise your hand. We have a fabulous feature tonight in this anthology. It is Heaven Looks Like Us. And she's got some other poems, not just the one in the anthology, to share with y'all. So that's awesome. And there's a beautiful list. Oh, loveliness. Okay. So I wrote this poem earlier today. So rough draft, new shit. Okay.
New shit.
All right. What is a god during fascism but a finch carrying a twig to a nest in the corner of a porch? There are Joro spiders collecting wasps and palmetto bugs in an opposite corner, while exoskeletal forces take up parking spaces, while masked people become body snatchers, while Waymo vehicles, ghost driving steering wheels get stuck in accidents, while the matrix of abnormal temperatures and smokes clog the air. Where does the God figurine go? To what altar do scrolls of fortune cookie prayers find dust? What is the scent of lit incense sticks hand-rolled? I'm trying to identify where mine goes when my soul feels the most boot-printed, from Orwellian references too real. Where is the higher power? I can't subscribe to Pyramid, with its ancient references and toils of enslavement. Instead, I seek refuge in seasons turning, in the chilled air that wakes me up from Lana Del Rey's summertime sadness. I have reversals of hibernations and seasonal depressions. Do you still believe in gods? One, many, symbols? Where do they go under your sleeves at midnight at 3 a.m.? Faith is never being sure of an answer and finding one anyway. Blessed from an agnostic family, I got to pick and choose. The wandering desert stories with wafers, nails, and wine for blood always seemed death cult to me. Seemed as much hocus pocus as Santa Claus in terms of hopes and rewarded redemptions. Is that sacrilege? To have studied religions and find a mosaic of truths instead of just one? My forces of nature, communities, and loves who hold me accountable. My faith puts the unknown as a figurehead. If my symbol should have to have a face, it's the bunny in the moon. It's the eyes of dogs needing rescue in the rain and the motor oil. The canine stare of love and forgiveness after you've risked your hand and fingers past the sharpened teeth to give it a pill. The dolphin who returned my stare after she gave me a ride, and I held on to her fin, and that dolphin made clicking sounds. Changed my life in a weird way of being seen that I could not be the same afterward. When I say the cardinals and the hummingbirds I see from my porch didn't know about a lynching, which seemed like the one in Piedmont Park a few years ago, didn't know about a plague, didn't know about Rayshard Brooks or a dictator taking over again, giving us deja vu, but in high-speed order. When I say none of what is happening now should be a surprise, to anyone alive during Hurricane Katrina or 9/11 or any other disaster made worse by fallout of humans afterward. I mean, people live through worse right now and have before, and that is not to make an excuse. Where is your God in figuring or figurine? Does it have a Venus of Willendorf frame, or is it something more like the sudden sound of an owl at night? My therapist says her higher power is everywhere, all around, all the time. Suggests the staircase of DNA could even be considered. I remember Lilith in times like this. I remember the women in my life and matriarchs in times like this. And trans heroes and heroines in times where we don't need heroes, we just need everyday people. How those jealous of creation spun their envy into thinking those who destruct in male forms could be gods. And how hard they try with brutal energies. They are not my powers. They are not height or depth. I refute and smite them. Instead, I find powers in the dim light reflected on the moon's cratered surface. The lifelines of hands, palms, pitted, flawed. That's the head to the hand, and the rest is up for interpretation.
I'm not singing, folks. I won't let it rip if it hits me. Hey! All right, so I'm torn. So I've been, I hope. Oh shit. Okay, sorry.
What?
I had a stack of posted thing that I do all month in my hand, and I left them at home.
Oh crap.
Anyway, I do an open mic and a slam, poetry slam, once a month, every second Friday of the month, and I just want to cleanse or dirty the palate here.
Yeah.
So I'm a snob about something. The marauding love poet who like randomly walks up to strangers and says stuff that can be interpreted like creepily without consent. Like, you can be a love poet, do your love poem, and just like stay in your space and don't like get in my space because you barking up the wrong lesbian. I have said this. But here's a line, and I'm going to say the line, and I want you to marinate for a second and then react. Are we ready? We are not.
You are not ready.
Damn it. Her vision was my circumcision. Oh, no, you gotta marinate.
Okay.
Now react. I was so confused. I was like, are we in pain? What is happening right now? I don't know if that's sexy. I don't think that's sexy.
I don't think that's sexy.
But anyway, so, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's not the worst line I've ever heard.
No, it's not.
It's not the worst line I've ever heard. The worst line I've ever heard, Nikki, close your ears, because you were probably in the room when this happened. Ready? Sexily. I was born with gonorrhea in my eyes, so now I'm burning to see the truth.
I remember that. It was painful. It's.
Medic. I mean, that's not sexy.
I remember that line.
No.
I remember the bad ones.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And they just get in there and they create a wrinkle and they just stay. You know? But I do remember a Java monkey that used to be down the street. Every head in that room snapped, and you could hear all the nicks. As in that, what did you just say out of your face? Anyway, changing the subject. This poem has been on my mind a lot with a lot of the stuff that's happening right now. I work with a couple of homeschool groups, and I know parents are trying to do their best, but You know, I was an educator for 30 years, and when I walk in and I see they're trying, but it's like there's some standards, and we want your babies to be set up to do shit. I'm gonna teach them the rules, and I'm gonna be like, and this is how we wreck it all. But if you want me in the classroom space, I am there. And a friend of mine who is also an educator came to me this summer with boxes of books, and she was like, there's a room in my school. They are purging the library. There's a room in my school full of brand new books, and all of them are about black people. And I could not let them do it. They're books about George Washington Carver, brand spanking new, hardcover, like $40 hardcover, you know, Rosa Parks, posters, all kinds of books, poetry books. It was wild. She brought them to me, and I don't know what schools are doing when they purge their books or how they're disappearing them, but it brought me, it keeps bringing me to this poem, especially working with them today. I read a banned book to them today, and a banned children's book. You might have heard of it. It's called Cat in the Hat.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Cat in the Hat was banned after they begged him to write it because of the things, which are stranger danger, letting people in your house, destruction of property, and lying to your parents. And now we be just door dashing and Ubering all over the place. What happened, Dr. Seuss? Anyway, he was a terrible person. But I read it just so that we understand how powerful words are and how interpretation of those words should not be left up to any one person. Everybody who reads a text or reads a painting or reads anything, we're all going to get something different out of it. And that's as it should be, right? All right, this is 451, my weird number poem.
Oh, yes.
Ignition temperature is the temperature at which something catches fire and burns on its own. Ray Bradbury. 4. For those who fan the flames of ignorance, growing something larger than fear, they grow hate. They hang it around their words, disguise the truth. They call it religion. They call it terror. They call it patriotism. The written word has always been inflammatory, full of hope and heart. Such bullshit in modern times, because now we the people, we know better. We know how to hold the match steady, balance it on the tips of forked tongues, and throw it around like democracy, like assumption, like global insider riot, like church and state. So fan the flames, media moguls. My God is bigger than yours. 5. Pillars of faith. Affirmation, prayer, alms, fasting, pilgrimage, peace and protection, divine intervention, speaking in tongues. The Father, the Son, the Spirit, Holy Ghost of past transgression, future redemption. This wine is my blood. This bread, my body, all outstretched arms and right angles, eyes turned towards heaven. Sacraments, make me clean. Make me holy. And Florian, patron saint of firefighters, bless us. Keep the flames from spreading. 1. Nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lyrics spoon-fed by false idols who never intended for us to learn the art of self-interpretation, because that idea of tolerance, it ignites so hot it can burn down global communities. Biblical class, this is Libercide, and please remember that the Nazis burned more than books. Oh, emulator. I never thought you'd show your face here. But hooded or not, I'd recognize those eyes anywhere. 451 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature at which book paper catches fire and burns. So you can disagree with words written on pages, held together with a spine, tucked between pages, covers filled with peace, love, and terror. But fire, unlike you, it doesn't discriminate. Our frail flesh and bone bodies, we're all different, like ideas. This bone, our sinew, we all have different ignition temperatures, different sparks that will set us aflame. But fire knows exactly the temperature it needs to burn a book, and it could give a goddamn whether you have read the word or not. Thank y'all for listening. So, I'm like, let's wear the mask today, Theresa, because I got too many friends being like, I think I got them. I'm like, you need to hang up now. It can come through the phone. Text me. So we're doing it. So we're going to start the open mic. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, I'm not going to jump around or go down the list. I think I'm going to start at 1, because basically you're 3. You went 3rd. Katie, Lynn, Hook, you went 3rd. Y'all give it up for Katie, Lynn, Hook.
Okay, so the last time I tried this, I spoke way too quickly and the mic was up here, so I was not even talking it. So we're gonna hope I do better this time. Okay. So I meant to do this back in July, but I got the date wrong and came on a Saturday, not knowing that these only happen on Thursdays. But I wanted to dedicate my reading to my friend Shannon Wade. She passed away 2 years ago, and we would have been 30 together this year, and it took her passing for me to realize that our birthdays were exactly a month apart. But I wrote a poem about her the other day because she visited me in my dreams, which she hadn't done for quite a while. So I saw her again last night while I slept and chased after some man I'll never have. There she was, as brilliant as her best days, and everyone manifested to flock to her, like my dream was welcoming all our shared grief, to love her and stay by her ephemeral side. I found it of note that I didn't wake in tears. I thought of her pictures and her laugh ringing through my quiet places, and I was glad that she visited. I was glad to still know her shape. I've been reckoning a lot with things going on in the world and what I do and don't do, and the privilege to scroll on. And this came up again recently because I was browsing through the stickers when I first got here, and there was one about if you're sort of along the lines of like if you're not you know that if you're on the sidelines, you're part of the problem. Like if you're not helping, working. So this was a poem that I wrote in thinking about that. I'm lying to myself so I can sleep at night. Like the mother's lullabies, all those happily ever afters. It's never ending. It's chaos across the line, and I'm guilty of hiding. I'm a treasonous wretch, taking cover while so many suffer under extreme duress. Move the chessboard, move the lazy, the dragging, the what good could we do? We are all guilty when we turn our backs, because it's not our backs. It's not our backs. But if you're not treating the wounds, we're guilty of letting them bleed, and bleed, and bleed, and scar, and bruise. I am lying to myself that there are no terrors in the dark, just not my dark, just not mine. I wanted to read a random poem that I wouldn't prepare today, and I wanted to leave things on a couple notes. I hope everybody is well, and I hope everybody has a good night. And sometimes that's all we can ask for. Okay. The pull in my bones to bury my hands deep. Send my fingers wide out, reaching. My spine yearns to stretch, to rise to the edges of boughs and graces, and my mistakes are many. Yet my blooms, oh, when I am green and pink and every complimentary thing, while the bees are wild, and my eyes see magic like a child's, and I whisper softer dreams. The moss will heal my skin, and the fields will fold me under warm covers. There I will find peace. There I will sigh and sing at whatever volume I please.
I want to say I love what you did with that cover for that for the movie.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm stealing it. I got a box.
The
So
Little Mermaid's covered my whole personality recently.
nice. So I have have a lot of DVDs and VHSs, and I actually still have machinery that will play them. So I have no problem canceling Disney and Hulu today. I was like, fuck y'all. What? You took enough of my money. And then I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, well, you know, just because the Bullet Whisperer called things to him, she was like, you can't say that. You'll lose your job. I was like, dude, I have fired myself so many times. And I always rehire me. I think I'm good. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been talking to children all day, and now I get to talk to adults. It's great. Olivia. Oh, no, that was Olivia. Kyle.
No, Olivia's the next one. I was kidding.
No, you're Katie.
Yeah.
I came up twice, Karen. You gotta stop me.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think any of us believed you. But okay. Olivia! Rosario! Come to the mic!
Hey, I'm Olivia.
Sorry, I almost messed up.
That's alright. I won the Academy of American Poets Award at Agnes Scott. And and I think it's going to be published soon, so I'd like to read it.
Yeah!
Alright, it's called Earlier Hauntings. I'm waiting for my ghost to save me, for my white undershirt to slide across the floor and curl itself about what I don't know. I have tried fitting paper clips to the tips of my nails, the ones you sifted through and left dusty in the little bowl. I wrecked the seats of my car, then drove it to the beach. Ghosts aren't blind, even in the yard. I ran away rotten, so I picked my posture, back to the holding place, stuck in the crooks and nooks of a hammock mangled by time, just soon enough for it to swallow us down. I admit to this haunting, you, me, the ghosts that man the hammock, the yard, the knife, the undershirt. Not in this place, but in the seed of us. You in half-light, you in body, you in your bullet-torn knuckles reaching for the loft of me, stretching to clasp sweatpants strings, the maker's blood, the pastor's words, knots and knots of hills unclaimed. My spine has toppled through your turbid lap. We become the glass blower. And then I guess this is a gay poem I wrote last week.
Yes! All the good words.
I throw my dyke pants on the floor when I'm done digging for the day. They get washed when the weight of mud on the knee pads begins to drag my steps. A belt through the belt loops secures my masculinity. She, her, written on my dyke shirt, a sort of divinity. We like a tough boot, war boot, boot in the dirt. We do reconnaissance, renaissance, roadies, groupies. Lace up, face up. It's nice to feel a sunburnt nose while you're marching to freedom. My boys, I know, hear me when I say punch me. They'd like to start a fight club too. My boot cracks a tooth on the ground. I smile. One is missing. I know it is mine. Hers is missing too. Our tears are from the fact that we don't have to pretend that we aren't dirty dykes. But we will lie to each other and say that the tears are black eye pain.
But I'm still penless. Uh-oh.
You're what now?
Penless.
Yeah, we
That's right.
That's a
Right?
sharp
Oh, yay!
thing.
Now we have
Thank you.
pen. Yay! All right. Oh, yeah, yes. Now we have multiple pens.
Oh, damn it.
Yes.
We so extra.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Because we're writers.
Because we're writers. Multiple color, yes. Multiple inks. Multiple inks. Yes. All right, now we have Kyle Jones. Yes!
I really appreciate that you took out multiple books and prose to find your poems, because I do too. And I think I have envelopes from bills. I have emails. I have 2 or 3 Gmail things that I've started, and they're just sprinkled all over. So I don't really know where all my poems are. They're somewhere.
Sounds good.
The universe has given me an opportunity to experience a lot of grief this fall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote about it. And I thought I would read some of it to you. And I hope somebody has something happy to read afterwards. Okay. So the first one is comes from the day that I arrived at my aunt's house. That morning my grandmother had passed away. It was kind of like sudden, not sudden. We weren't really. It came on a lot faster than we thought. And driving over there, I'm the kind of the medical person in the family, and so I knew in my brain kind of how it would go and what I would say and what we would do. And then I showed up there, and it was just totally unexpectedly different than I thought. Oh, grief. You weren't in the forecast today. I looked ahead this week and saw reason and poise. And here you come, a looming gray tsunami in the sky, spilling fat raindrops down my face and dashing lightning through my core, causing thunderous sobs to rumble through my chest. Where did you come from? My calm, reflecting pool of memories suddenly became brackish and confusing when I stepped into that empty room, filled with such stifling stillness that my breath became trapped below the ache in my chest. The bed, now stripped of its linens, all meaning lost, and the same for the body stripped of its life. Her body was preserved for us to see, but it's already been stripped bare of meaning. I don't want to look at her body if I can't see her anymore. I don't want to touch her hand if I can't hold it again. She's gone back to the hills, where I still hear her walking up the gravel drive, rustling through the blueberry bushes, the plunk, plunk, plunk of the fruit into the empty bucket. I hear her exhale with the steam of the iron as she sets it upright on the ironing board, her furrowed brow glistening with sweat. I hear her yell to Grandpa that lunch is ready, that meal after meal after meal is ready, and that Kyle is here, and that Kyle is here over and over and over, and that he is here, their grandson is here, and that I am here, and that I am. They were also the first people in my family. I come from, probably a lot of people in here, but a religious Southern Pentecostal family, and they were the first people in my family that I came out to as trans. And so they were in their late 70s, they just kind of seamlessly took up my name and my pronouns. And it was just like really incredible coming to them I went up to their house like every weekend in my 20s, and it was really cool to come in and they would say Kyle is here and he's here and our grandson is here. It was just cool. And I've just had a lot of time to just hold grief and kind of look at it from different angles. Because I think one of the things that happens, especially with grief, is that I don't sleep a lot. So I have plenty of time to think about things. Yeah. So here's one I wrote about it too. I keep my grief stored in the junk drawer. That catch-all place in the kitchen where the bread ties and straws and takeout chopsticks accumulate for years. Pens with logos from hotels where I stayed with my former lovers, dried up now for years, rattle in the drawer when I open and close it. I can't quite bring myself to throw them away. What if I find replacement ink for them someday? Flimsy rubber bands bind the detritus together, like vines running over an abandoned yard. I pull the drawer open and rummage through the junk every now and then, sometimes finding just what I need, but most of the time sighing in frustration when I cannot. Pushing the grief to the back of the drawer, I'll sort it out another day. I ignore the thud it makes when I push the clattering drawer shut with my hip, my hands full of the more pressing needs of my day. each time I open the drawer, I toss in another dried up pen, a worn out rubber band, or a bread tie that I might need someday. And I feel a little pang of guilt when I see the grief tangled in the mess. I'm overwhelmed with the thought of trying to sort the drawer out, telling myself that today is just not a good day. I don't have time to dump it all out and untangle the grief. The ache in my chest tells me it isn't just about not having time that keeps me from freeing grief from the clutter of dysfunctional junk. It's the memory of the last time I took the grief out of the drawer and the dark times that followed. And then it's not done yet, but
Alright. The mic keeps doing this like droppy thing. I'm gonna try to make it so it stops doing that so it can pick you up louder. See it moving?
I do.
You're afraid of my words. I know.
Do we want a new one?
I think it's the stand.
It's the
Is
same.
it the stand?
I think if you
Stop moving. Okay, thank you.
you got it.
Alright. So, hey, I want to invite you all to the Arts Exchange on September 27th. I'm doing my All Voices Poetry Slam. And I'm saying if you have 3 poems, shoot your shot. This is the year to do that, right? 3 minutes, giving away 300 first prize, 150 second, and 53rd. And I don't know about you, but I can use $300. But I can't compete because I'm the one giving away the money, which I feel like is a trap, but America. Okay, anyway, so you should mark your calendars, come on out, and if you are interested in getting beaten Scrabble on Saturday, you come on down and I will handle that for you. All right. Nikki, I missed you! Y'all put your hands together right now for Nikki!
Okay. Well, I'm definitely not the happy follow-up. Kyle, I am with you in the trenches. I lost my mother earlier this year. So, that circle of grief is very, very deep. Her birthday is coming up. Yay. And next week I'm performing at a senior center celebrating all things senior, which of course brings up my mom. So, here is a piece. When you are signed up and you don't know what it is that you are going to read. Because you didn't bring anything. Okay. Who will tell us? I once asked my mother if there were black cowboys. It was a straightforward question. Saturday afternoons often meant watching Bonanza, The Rifleman, and the like. I asked about cowboys, but also more. I asked about existence, about being black, about why our presence never made it to the screen. Maybe we weren't there, maybe we didn't exist. Mom would know. Moms always know. Much of my memory is filled with holes, yet I hold on to the story of my becoming. How I wished to be here early. How my parents had to leave me. Jaundice stretching my arrival into an extended hospital stay. If that slice of life were a TV episode, jaundice would be a behind-the-scenes moment, a detail the audience never sees. Perhaps black cowboys were also behind the scenes. Mom would know. Moms always know. If the body holds memory, how much can it carry? 1 generation? 2?
Is the legacy of the unseen woven into my DNA, a lineage of blackness in the background laying foundations for the future Mom would know? Moms always know. Who would know better than Mom? Working behind the scenes of every moment of my life, shaping, molding, steadying my steps, the pillar I turned to when the road ahead shook beneath me. Who but Mom would have the answers when Google sends me into overload? The old school remedies passed down from her mother, who received them from hers, a quiet archive of knowing. She knew how to cure a cough without a pharmacy, how to stretch a meal when there wasn't enough, how to make a house a home with nothing but hands and love. She knew history, even the parts never written down, how black cowboys roamed the plains, how grandmothers held worlds together, how we existed even when unseen. She knew the weight of labor, the kind that doesn't clock out, the kind that is done in whispers, in waiting rooms, in kitchens, in late night prayers and early morning risings. She knew how to bear it, how to carry it, how to make sure I never doubted that we were always here. And now I know too. Now I am the mother. I am the grandmother, the keeper of stories, the hand that stirs the pot, the voice that soothes fevered brows, the one who whispers you were always meant to be here. Now I am the one answering the questions, guiding small hands through pages of history that refuse to be erased. I am the bridge between what was and what will be. I carry the knowing the same way she did, the same way those before us did. Quiet, steady labor, an unbroken line. And when they ask me, I will know, because moms always know. We'll do one more. Some days I wish the mirror told a different story. One with fewer aches tucked beneath the skin. But even the shadows are part of the inheritance. Even the quiet is something we pass down. My forehead is large. When I was young, I hated it. Tried to hide it behind my hair. But my mother said I wasn't old enough for bangs. My nose is big too. You can't see it. A feature passed down on my father's side. Bold, undeniable, mine. But these lips, they are hers. The way she looked like she was frowning even when she was only thinking. The way I do now. I don't have their eyes, my parents. Not my father's deep-set watchfulness, nor my mother's amber glow that drew strangers in like firelight. The universe didn't choose that gift for me. I used to think I looked like no one, as if I'd fallen from the sky with no reflection to return me home. That age etches truth slowly into the stone of me, reminding me who I belong to, what door I walked through to get here. This morning, I caught my mother's mouth on my face. That not quite frown I misunderstood as a child. Thought she was angry. She was just thinking. I remember grandmother's garden, corn that whispered in the wind. My mother inherited her green thumb, though I never learned. Still, plants flourish with me, just not the eating kind. Mom spoke of picking cotton, of watching her siblings move through fields under Mississippi heat, and I sit with this dissonance, reading about history as if it were far away, and then realizing it lives in the same hands that braided my hair. Segregated schools, integrated schools not so long ago. Mississippi still remembers the separation, remembers the lynchings. My family heard that word, the N-one, more times than I can count. Aunts, uncles, my mother. Thankfully, I've only ever heard it twice. I wonder about my other grandparents, the ones I never got to know, what they survived, what they never got a chance to say. My mother told me not to pop my knuckles. I watched my father do it, so I followed suit. I didn't inherit her love for pink, but I found femininity in lip gloss, painted nails, the purse of her lips reborn in mine. I often raided her jewelry box, just not her closet. Instead, it was my father's ties, vests, suit jackets that draped me in power. I was Miami Vice in earrings and bracelets. A soft rebellion in 80s sparkle. And through all of this, the echoes of cotton fields, closed bank accounts, of doors locked until my mother was granted permission to own her own money. Through all of this, I remember how my father, when denied advancement, built his own table, a home business, a quiet revolution, and now I stand in their shadow, though they are no longer here, no longer needing permission or having to beg for scraps from another's table. I am not bone china. I am Mississippi mud mixed with Georgia red clay and a dash of Michigan silt. I am earth soaked in the blood of my people, in tears of grief, of longing, of truths pulled from the belly of existence. I am the culmination of multiple selves, multiple histories, and roads paved and laid by those before me. I am the culmination of my ancestors' dreams, and I hear the drums of my people echoing in my bloodline. And when I imagine myself decades from now still standing here, I wonder if I'll catch a glimpse of the girl I used to be, or the elder I am becoming. Will someone see me in their own reflection and feel less alone? I press my fingers to the mirror's glass, not to smooth, not to fix, but to honor, to say I see you, to say I'm still learning how to carry the story without dropping the light. I used to glorify other people's stories. Now I hear the nuance in my own, the way my mother's mouth, my father's forehead, and the quiet power of my lineage have built me into someone worth remembering. Just like you.
Wow.
Just like all of us.
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. Thank you, Nikki. Wonderful. And next on the list, birthday human, Talisha, who also does workshops with Nikki sometimes, and also their own. So give it up for Talisha!
I love her. Thank you. Love you too. Hello. I am also a little ill-prepared. So, from the audience, a number between 1 and 149.
Hey.
Okay. Scroll down. Okay.
That was a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wide range.
This is my drafts from last year. So, this is draft 1 of Genocide as told by my Instagram story archives. It's 10 days into what, hold on, accidentally. Digital media, what is this? I pushed the button and we went all the way to the bottom, or to the top. 6, 7, 8, which I don't think this one's finished, but here we go. Anyway, draft 1, Genocide is told by my Instagram story archives. It's 10 days into what Western media will dub a war instead of a genocide that it is. Al-Shifa still stands, its belly filled with the flesh and bone of Gaza's wounded, its jaw tired and aching from all the chewing up of that which humanity spat into its mouth. A mama bomb feeding its young the prey of unanswered prayers. Ceasefire now. 2 weeks into the Israeli-Hamas conflict, 20 of 200 trucks of aid held up outside the Rafah border are finally free to cross. People clap, rejoice. Joy is fleeting when you know 200 after days that stretch out like weeks of begging will not be enough. On the 24th of October, Busan appeared with a 6 p.m. update that 700 people were killed in 24 hours, mostly women and children. I add as keywords to garner your compassion that the healthcare system was collapsing. No fuel and no supplies in the north, yet Al-Shifa's belly was bursting, jaw unhinged, eyes wild with what it had witnessed and had been force-fed. Hashtag ceasefire. 20 days in Gaza goes dark. 20 days in, Gaza goes dark, silent, or as dark and silent as a night riddled with explosions can get. As dark as the pocket of space a child trapped beneath the rubble can get. As silent as a father's strangled sob over his family's remains can get. Cut off, lacerated, severed, amputated from the world. 14,000, sorry, it cuts off. It's not finished. It just says 14,000, I don't know what that is. So. What you're going to read when you ask the audience to pick a number. Anyway, another number from 1 to 149.
106.
Well, I heard 196, but that one doesn't.
Said 106.
Oh, okay. I was like 196. I wasn't that ambitious. Also, I want to say that I'm really excited to be here because I don't know. I just haven't been. Oh wow. Yeah, I haven't been outside. Also, 106 is a ekphrasis. Yeah, that thing. And the picture you will not be able to see. Well, okay. So this poem is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna just tell you that now. This is the picture.
Oh, wow.
That the poem is based on. Okay. And it's just titled Ekphrasis. Why did I do this to myself? Okay. Neon pink pussy pulsing out a river of life. Pleasure.
Yes!
Pleasure and blood mixing to drench what will become the most fertile soil. Our bodies are meant to splay wide. Wildfires to warm the touch of our lovers. It's us. We are our own lovers. Our brown nipples safe between our praying thumb and forefinger. Our eyes becoming a moon we howl towards. Our thick hair covering crotch and head and pits, housing forests filled with moans and sighs of release. We come and come and come until it pools at our feet. We do it beautifully. We do it in the open. We hold ourselves up and watch the way it writhes between our thighs. We make you want to have a taste. We decide, if you will.
All right. So, B, hey, are you ready to join us on the mic? Do you need a chair? Well, there is a chair. You gonna stand? Okay. Y'all give it up for. As I do. Other funny thing that happened at the open mic. Funny thing happened at the open mic.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah, one of the poets. So I have this thing where I'm like, write new things. Stop bringing me the same poems over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You're a writer. This one young man, he knew he wasn't gonna win the money, So he was like, I'm gonna freestyle. And I was like, do you? And he started off, and I think this is the line, when he started off, I was like, it's gonna score well, even if it sucks. He started off, he was like, I would just like to start by asking all of us to give a moment of silence to Charlie Kirk, and everybody immediately screamed for like 2 minutes. It was awesome. And then he said a couple of words, and he was like, that's my time. And I was like, you're gonna score well. He did not have to win, but it was refreshing, and it felt like a, you know, like, oh, okay, it's not me. It's not me. All right, you ready? Y'all, put your hands together for me! Ooh, we gotta do stickers.
This is the first time I've been on time for the Cliterati in like 4 months, so this is nice. Sorry, I'm really short. I feel like no one can see.
You need it down.
Sorry.
I'm gonna be simple on you. There you go. That better? Make sure you get in the mic, okay?
I wrote this poem, I think, last month, but I didn't read it. I'm gonna read it today because it lines up perfectly because I started my period.
All right.
And it's called The Sea Without Me. The moon and her womb, the ocean below her, cradled between her hips. She may be the master of that wonder, the one who pushes and pulls when it suits her, but it still proves to have a mind of its own. My ocean and hers are the same. It flows and ebbs as it pleases, no concerns for the tsunamis and hurricanes it brings about in its wake. Me, the moon, the ocean, my womb. I frantically and desperately attempt to calm an enraged, unruly tide. I feel it's no longer mine, as if this Atlantic has become its own ecosystem without me, like we are no longer the moon in her womb, just the sea. And this is a short one. I just wrote it. Someone makes, there's one specific person in my life who makes me so furious. I don't become the same person. And when they open their mouths, I just zone out. Flap, flap, flap. There it goes. The last fuck I had.
Rewind!
There it goes. The last fuck I had. It took to the skies almost immediately after you spoke. Shouldn't that be your green light to shut up? Tell all that the conversation has nowhere to go. If you couldn't hear the beating of the pearlescent wings soaring over our heads, then maybe my head tilted back as I gazed into the horizon should have clued you in on the fact that I have nothing for you. No more fucks to give. And this one, this last one. It's a birthday poem for me. My birthday isn't until next Saturday, but happy birthday! 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16 felt like 16. It wasn't you're too young, and wasn't grow up, you're too old for this. But 22 feels like loose-fitting jeans, the ones where they fit your hips and legs, but not your ass, and leaves you with a genus. 22 feels like a brand, an alarm. It's my own scarlet letter informing everyone that I'm young and unproductive. Telling people that I'm 22 now feels like morphing into a deer and headlights. Me, the deer, the headlights, a barrage of questions and criticisms that invade all 5 senses. Growing up, 22 looked like college dorms and coffee stores stuffed with conversations about being 23, and how we could never imagine being where we are now. I at least have the last part, the could never imagine being where I am now part. But I am. I'm here. I'm 22. I'm young and unproductive. You can see it on my left hip. I'm shouting now, so no need to ask. But if I'm honest, after all of 16's daydreams about today, I wish 22 were exactly that, a dream. This is Fiona Apple's cover of Across the Universe.
Oh, cool.
Words are pouring out like endless steam into a paper cup. They slip while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, inciting and inviting me. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Shades of sounds of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. And this is 20 Years by Civil Wars. There's a note underneath your front door that I wrote 20 years ago. Yellow paper and a faded picture and a secret
coming to the mic.
Alright, this is new shit.
New shit!
I have a regular length poem and a short poem. Do y'all want to hear a poem that I wrote about the future first, or a poem that I wrote about falling in love with someone that is an avoidant?
Future.
Future? Alright. This is called Reasonable Doubt. The future is alive. The future is a multi-level marketing scheme on its best days and a full-blown con artist on its worst. The future showed up on every first day of school I've ever had and found me rocking a fit that always looked a little flyer laid out on the bed the night before. Ah, yes, the future bearing its highlighters and composition notebooks, grinning at me with pearly veneers, clapping me on the back with its massive hands, dodgy about answering any questions. The future is bright. The future loves a graduation ceremony. The future has the wrong contact information listed on its website. I've achieved the highest level of education one can in this country, and still the future is a dark hallway with a flickering light. The future is always a benevolent forethought, always whispering the best thing that could ever possibly happen into your slumbering ears at night, making promises of implication, telling lies of omission. How many gold stars can I get for this now? The future has been gaslighting me since my 5th grade yearbook. The future loves a superlative, most likely to succeed. The future didn't dare disclose that I was also the most likely to get their heart broken on a biannual basis in adulthood, most likely to get pulled over on any given highway. The future sends me menacing love letters in the form of overdue hospital bills, insisting that we work this thing out. We're just in it too deep to forget this now. I'm terrified that the future I always dreamt of, the one that might have gathered me up into a congratulatory embrace, jumped the broom with me on my wedding day, handed me my first grandchild on the front porch of a family home, is already behind us, waving in the rearview mirror. Or maybe it was always a mirage, a distortion. It seems that what lies ahead now is just a terrifying combination of watching and waiting. In the 10th grade, I struggled to grasp the difference between le futur proche, I'm going to, and le futur simple, I will. Je vais être heureuse, I would say in the future, I'm going to be happy. No, Therese, my teacher would tut in exasperation. You should say, je serai heureuse, I will be happy, because that is the tense we use when things are less certain. With a wink, she would add, because you never really know about that kind of thing in the future, right? Alright, this is called a case study on the anti-hero hero. You with the eyes like 2 rosebuds, the hammer, the hard scrabble flashbacks, you with the lead foot, sweet tooth, buck knife tucked into your big brown boot. I dreamt about you every night. I'd love to leave the porch light on for you, but the moths fly straight through the window whenever I do. You with the smile like a window pane, make everything come bubbling up, bleeding out like tree sap. You fly by night, making me love you, hot-faced and headlong. You, all the things I've been warned about. You, belly laugh. You, beast, boy, cow lick and widow's peak, caked in rumble, kicking up dirt and trouble. When you come from, wherever you come from. You, rose water, worried lips, avalanche of lemongrass. You, come here looking for me, moving through this life, itchy palm, got money coming to me, at least that's what they say. So tender, so green, nose wide open, me, everything sprained, but nothing broken.
so you would think I would have made it here by now. And the station knows I spend so much time here, so you would think I would have made it here. But so I really liked what you read earlier because just about your mother. I ironically I'm an out-of-state student. This is really about college. But I'm an out-of-state student, and I've been grappling with a lot of homesickness lately. So it was nice to hear someone else talk about their mom, because I really miss mine these days. And also in the missing realm, I've been cursed with this curse of having a lot of upperclassmen friends who keep graduating. I wish like one of them would like mess up their classes or something. Like, you know, like have to stay back, like have to make it the 4 credits. But it hasn't happened yet, and I don't know if it will happen. But that's okay. I don't know how many of you guys have ever gotten to walk on the Agnes campus, but the whole campus is littered with these red bricks that are really inaccessible. But they're very scenic and beautiful. And this piece is kind of just about like navigating those bricks when things look a little different. So this is Walking Alone on the Red Brick Path. There's something about walking familiar paths alone that makes the quiet feel louder. I still take the same route to the dining hall. I still sit on the quad and smile up at the sun. But now I find myself reaching for stories that don't get told out loud anymore. Moments only we shared, now suspended in memory, like dust caught in a golden afternoon light. I pass the table outside where we used to sit for hours, talking about everything and nothing, and no one looks up and waves anymore. The buildings are the same, but they echo differently now, like they've emptied out a version of time that only we occupied. College doesn't quite feel like college anymore. The late nights feel heavier, not electric. The walk to class feels a little longer, even if the same number of red bricks is still along the same path. Things that once felt effortless, grabbing dinner after club meetings, sitting across from each other in the library, lapping ourselves breathless in the stairwells, now require a little more effort. They require intention, and often they require bravery to do alone. Even the good things feel different. The sun still shines, but it doesn't feel like an invitation. Events still happen, but they blur together now, missing the faces that once lit them up. I keep trying to tell myself that this is still my life, still my place, but it's hard not to feel like a guest in something that used to feel like my home. I knew that this time would come. I used to think about it like it was some far-off thing, like we'd all find a way to make the years stretch for far longer than they were allowed to. We made soft promises to visit, to call, to stay close despite the distance, and maybe we still will. But the truth is, no one really prepares you for this in-between, when they're gone, but still everywhere. They're in photos taped to the wall that feel like relics from a life that's still unfolding without them. In playlists that sneak up on you during a walk to class, and they turn the sidewalk into a memory reel. In phrases you catch yourself saying and realize with a small ache that you borrowed from them, mannerisms, jokes, even their laugh, still lingering on your tongue. The hardest part isn't the leaving, it's what remains. Shared routines that suddenly become mine to navigate alone. The once comforting patterns of a day are now made unfamiliar by their absence. The way that laughter sounds different when it's not coming from the people who once filled your days. Hollower somehow, like an echo rather than a song. It's the spaces that they used to fill, the table in the library, the patch of grass on the quad, the extra cup on my desk that reminded me that the place is still the same. But knowing that my world has subtly, irrevocably shifted. And perhaps what hurts the most is the quiet realization that you're still here, still living, still finding meaning in those days, only now without the people who helped you build them. I try to be brave in the ways that they taught me. I pick up the phone more, even if there's silence on the other end, even if our lives don't overlap the way that they used to. Sometimes they tell me about their new routines, their new people, and I smile, even though something inside me quietly aches. Their worlds are growing, new cities, new ambitions, new versions of themselves that I'm excited to meet. Meanwhile, mine feels like it's standing still. The same campus, the same sidewalks, the same 2 blocks, the same 2 corners where we used to laugh until our ribs hurt. I stay late after parties now, trying to build new circles, trying to believe that connection is still possible here. That maybe if I keep showing up, something will shift. Even when it feels easier to slip away, I stay, because I want this place to feel full again, even if it's with different people.
I'm learning that starting over doesn't mean forgetting. It means making room for change even if you didn't ask for it. The people who leave don't always disappear. They live on in your choices and the way you hesitate before saying goodbye, and the softness that you carry towards others. They echo in your habits and your humor, the way you hold space for people, even when you feel like there's no one holding space for you. And sometimes, when the days feel repetitive and the future feels blurry, I remind myself that I am still becoming. Even if their lives are moving faster, even if mine feels paused, I am still here, still growing quietly, still holding on, still learning how to begin again. Sometimes I wonder if they think of me when they pass by something that we once loved, a song we played on repeat, a meal that we would always split, a stretch of sidewalk where we'd pause mid-conversation just to laugh. I hope I was soft enough to be remembered, loud enough to echo just a little in their everyday. I hope some moments pull them back to me the way that certain scents or sunsets pull me back to them. Some days, I'm still scared that I was only loved in proximity, that what we had was tied to convenience, a shared place and time, and that without that structure, I become background noise. Forgettable, replaceable. It's a fear that creeps in quietly, at bus stops, in a silent dorm room, in conversations where I find myself repeating old jokes just to feel like someone familiar is still around to hear them. But most days, I try to believe in the sturdiness of connection, in the way that real love doesn't dissolve just because it has to stretch, that just because something changes shape does not mean it's gone. We grow in different directions, but sometimes I think that's just proof that the roots ran deep to begin with. The truth is, I carry them with me in ways that I don't always notice. How I speak, how I listen, how I care. I like to believe that they carry me too, even if it's quieter than it used to be. So I keep walking the old paths, and I let the silence teach me something new. I notice things I used to rush past, the way that the light falls through the chapel windows in the late afternoon, the particular rhythm of my footsteps when I'm not matching someone else's pace. There's a strange kind of peace in that. Not comfort exactly, but a quiet reminder that life continues, even when it feels paused. I trust that the loneliness is not a punishment, but a pause. A stillness that asks me to listen more closely to myself, the world, to the echoes of what matters. I'm learning that this space, as empty as it can feel, is also full of possibility. The friends who didn't just leave, they made room for growth, for stillness, for the person that I am becoming, I am growing into, even if I fully don't recognize her yet. Some days that feels like enough, other days it doesn't, but I keep showing up anyway. I sit with the ache and let it soften. I try to believe that one day I'll look back on this version of me and see how brave she was for staying. And maybe someday I'll be the someone else that they look for in the quiet. A laugh that lingers on their memory, a phrase that slips into their speech, proof that they were loved and still are. That the connection we built, even if it changed, even if it faded, was real and that it mattered.
Thank you. All right, our last open micer. I love it when my worlds start colliding and being weird, and I love it. Y'all put your hands together for Griffin!
So I'm Griffin, and in 2 days I will officially be 9 months on testosterone. I'm very happy about it, but with it comes, a lot of changes, obviously, particularly in the way that I'm being perceived. Typically, when I would walk around at night, I would have my little pepper spray, and I would be afraid of being seen as vulnerable. Now, though, I have to be more afraid of being seen as dangerous. And I was thinking about it today, and at exactly 3 p.m. I started writing this poem. So it's not finished, but it's the beginning of something. I do not have a gun. I understand the confusion, sir. It's late, there's something in my hand, and anything with a dark enough background is a threat. I do not have a gun, but if I did, you'd walk behind me. I slow, you'd slow, I turn, you'd stop, and stare into me as though I was some wide-eyed creature tearing through your backyard. which just so happens to be the university I pay to attend. I must have had a gun when you asked me if I lived around there, if I was a student, what I was carrying, what I was doing, where I was going. It didn't matter what I was holding, what I was doing, where I was going. What mattered, I cannot say. But I did not have a gun. Maybe if I did, I wouldn't have kept looking over my shoulder as I walked home.
Oh my gosh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for what a wonderful list this has been. Open mic list. Thank you everybody who shared. Now it's on to our feature in Heaven Looks Like Us. And I love this introduction right here. Nadia Said is a Palestinian living in Georgia. She grew up on hummus and fried chicken. She has a weakness for words, especially made up ones, which is to say all of them. Please give it up for our feature.
All the poetry was so incredible, and all like kind of
We're together.
yeah, very thematic. I love that.
Yes, my poem about neon
Honestly, I knew this. Why did I do this? But I was like, I'm so happy. I am. Oh my gosh, that was great. Okay. What was I gonna say? I am very, very grateful that I'm here. Thank you to everyone, to Cliterati, to everyone who's been a part of this. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I'm going to start out with a poem. You know, on the themes of grief and periods and stuff, this is my grief poem, and I love it so much. And and I do want to dedicate this to my dad. It'll be on the 26th, 1 year since he will have been passed away. And he was his kids' biggest fans. Like, when I told him I got 2 poems published, he was like going around telling people that I had a book published and $50,000.
Yes.
And my mom calls me and she's like, "Did you get $50,000?" And I was like, "No." Okay, so this poem is called, where are you? Ooh, okay. Grief looks a lot like my period, won't leave me alone, has sworn a blood oath I never asked for, comes and ebbs and flows so heavy no thing can absorb its black hole red denseness, stains everything new and clean, has me laid up in bed for days on end, doped up on comfort TV, comes out of me in clumps and clots, and I hobble run to the bathroom to pass out of me some sort of twisted toilet water birth, only I never make it in time, grief-stained underwear shoved down, swatting to catch the grief clot sliding out, the lining of my torn heart mixed in, tough and fleshy, my heart refusing to stop shedding, determined to shed itself new again, only this grief is not skin deep, this grief is a muscle memory my heart refuses to forget. It has cycles, this grief, part of an anatomy I still don't understand. When my grief seeps through my outer layers, leaves its bloody mark for everyone to see, I get the same looks of sympathetic pity. Averted eyes pretend not to see. Kind offers of tissues and platitudes. I need them to leave me alone to cover up the mess of me. And this one is relatively, I wrote pretty recently. Semi-new recent. Okay. And it's called 6:21 a.m. collapses towards the core. The slowing beep, beep, beep announces your departure. Years ago, your teeth fled mid-bite, and the body kept with tradition. We chew at what's left, pretending rind is marrow, while your body's orchid, orchard. Did the same thing with AB readies for winter. Rough bark skin lost its glisten the day they transferred you. You reeling on the line, you hooked into their intubated reasoning, left you twitching under fluorescent lights. Legs clotted black and blue, hands to extremities the first to go. They say you should never judge a book by its cover, but you should always judge a hospital by their chapstick. Useless balm, foreshadowing salve. We apply and reapply and reapply at the raisoning O of your mouth. Maysoon and Hashim and Samad and Muhammad and I in familial orbit. You at the center of the universe. Us moving, circling, trading seats. Warming already cold hands, arms, feet. Anything in reach. Stroking lotioned ears. Fever dampened hair. All of you holy. Everything sacred.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to do some Palestine poems because fuck Israel, free Palestine. And Sudan. And at this point, free America too, I think. Okay. Assimilation. I learned from the trees to kill parts of myself to survive the winter. How long will I continue to think I don't have the keys? How much further along would I be? Love was native before hate came to colonize me. Drew arbitrary lines on the geography of my body. Labeled them separate from each other. Groomed me for a hollow throne. Parts of me made favored and others othered, till my body went to war with itself. Over imaginary differences and invisible lines drawn in shifting sand, hatred rooted in my skin so deeply it sold weapons to my body for which I gratefully paid. My eyes the first to turn on my stomach and thighs. My hands washed themselves of me and called it neutrality. My feet fled in search of shovels to fill holes in the soft earth of my heart, carved from bombs my mouth so carelessly dropped. All of me too separated, too angry, too falsely justified to question who was really winning in this war. What is next? Okay. I think we'll do cost of living. We turned left and you curse out America like only a true American can. Like they were family. Like you hated how much you loved them, laughing mid-sentence. You speak of making it in America, how everything seems far. Your eyes turn bullets, firing round the car, before hitting the body of space between us. And this poem I wrote like years ago. A lot of these poems I were written with regards to Palestine back in 2023 in the wake of October 7th. And it's interesting revisiting them and just, I don't know, seeing how things have changed but how they haven't at the same time. So yeah, I think that when it comes, I didn't realize that about especially more political poetry, to go back and see what, it doesn't just exist in that
no, it's we do.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow. Okay. This is how it starts. Cozy homes and bright buildings, coffee coffee shops and bookstores, glimmering fountains and parks with joyful kids shrieking, how could creation possibly erase? It continues in schools, in subjects and textbooks scrubbed clean and whitewashes, living histories and centuries of knowledge discarded into unmarked graves, hoping memory too will lie down and die. They will come for language next, carving away the words you feed your family, slice and ground until there are no vowels or syllables left to taste. You will have to eat their words and be made wrong in the devouring. Then they start building again, only this time they are bolder. This time they drill loopholes in morality, erect walls justifying the taking of humanity, till you are nothing more than a bug crawling underneath the barriers they built, no more than a thing or pest to exterminate, calling it their job, not the occupation it truly is. Finally, they come for your food, witches in a cabbage leaf garden, stealing what they sold to you, running back to their white towers, consuming and learning until 75 years later, an ocean away, people line up in droves for Israeli salad and Israeli hummus, for Israeli couscous, and a bite of falafel, their national dish. And a little Palestinian girl watching Netflix hears of an Israeli breakfast called shakshuka. This is how they begin to erase you.
Copies of that poem.
Thank you. This next poem, funny story. Recently, me and Alma were co-workers, and this poem was like published online in Sapiens.org, and I was like writing a letter to Kells actually, and I was just trying to focus on that, but then everybody was like kind of crowded around, and then the person we were original was like, yes, 1,000%. Okay, so this next poem is called Jesus is Palestinian.
Yes!
Okay. Jesus is Palestinian, and Jesus is black with woolly hair. So too are Musa and Muhammad and Yusuf, not to mention Joe, though he goes by Ayub. Jesus visited the Vatican once and couldn't recognize himself in their image. Asked a horrified tour guide if the paintings weren't supposed to be caricatures. Tried to pay the Pope a visit, but the Pope was too busy. Noticed side eyes and white knuckles as he drifted from hallway to hallway, but wouldn't understand until later. Jesus is lactose intolerant. Jesus has learned to be careful about the kind of car he drives in America. Has learned he must stare straight ahead when pulled over. Has learned any turn of the cheek results in backup, and his cheek scraping asphalt. Splayed out, arms crossed behind his back, knees pressed into the softness of his lungs, he struggles to breathe. Jesus is constantly telling people the correct way to pronounce his name, Isa. Jesus is not allowed to walk on certain streets in his hometown, has had his home sprayed with sewage, has been resurrected more times since 1948 than in all the years before combined, has been detained by Israel, a life sentence given. Jesus is a casualty of war, or a terrorist, or a human shield, or Hamas. The news still can't agree. Jesus is a damn spot Israel cannot wash out. Has been tortured and mutilated and starved while in prison, till he joined his brothers and sisters from Gaza and West Bank in heaven, skin and organs harvested for the world's largest skin bank. God begged Israel to release what they left of his body. They told him Jesus isn't finished serving his sentence.
Let's go.
And then this poem, my friend was like, if like a roast was a poem, and I was like, you know what? That's what this poem is. Anyway, I want to disclaimer this by saying I actually actually really do like the Aladdin movie, but when I was growing up, I was just, I refused to watch it. I didn't watch it until I was an adult because I was like, oh, Jasmine's not the main character. All the other princesses were the main character, and that really bothered me because I was just like, I wanted Jasmine to be the main character. Anyway, so then I watched it as an adult, and I was like, God damn it, this is actually really good. And Aladdin can go fuck itself. Watered down, fruit punch looking movie.
Oh, yes!
Pale voice, blue skin, genie stole the show. Came into a world that wasn't his. Changed his name from Jin to Jean. Into something America could wrap her lips around long enough to let settle on the tongue. Cut the menu peppers down to one. Strip the turmeric, have the cardamom. Minced garlic from a can on top of dry, unsalted chicken sitting next to a tall blue drink of water. Of course the genie stole the show. And the little girl sitting in front of her VCR TV, looking down at her plate, wondering when the jasmine rice will be ready.
Oh!
Thanks, guys. I like that one too. Let's see. Okay, as long as we're going down this pathway. This next one is called We Woke Up and It Was Terrorism, after We Woke Up and It Was Political by Jameson Fitzpatrick. We woke up and it was terrorism. We said what happens never again, and that was terrorism. We called to end the occupation, they call us Hamas. The menaish we eat, the hookah we smoke, the shay mahalib we drink is fuel for terror. Our mama made falafel, and Habit had us claiming terrorism too, only to be told Israel claimed it second, which made it native. Our conversations are attempted radicalizations, every epiphany is a hijacking. We wear the hijab and sip rosewater Kool-Aid. We take off the hijab and are labeled ISIS, seducing their pure Western men to our side. What if they pursued us, we ask. What if they made us, we wonder. But that's just what terrorism would say. You asked for it, what did you expect? Dressing the way you do, walking, talking, acting like you do. And that's not terrorism to say. Just like terrorism isn't terrorism, if you agree it's not terrorism, then it's democracy, freedom, resilience and resistance, and protecting your land. Unless you're Palestinian, then it's just terrorism. Every condom-less guy's dick inside of us is a potential terrorist. Every plan B we take is a neutralizing of the enemy. We're told President Trump sends his regards, told it's not personal, just business. Unless it's terrorism, then only to one side, our side, the wrong side. The whole world screams it's genocide. America assures us it's complicated. This next poem came from, I thought it wasn't real, this video I saw on Instagram of like, I guess Israelis were doing yoga to bring back the hostages, and I was just like, oh, this is like satire or AI. But I was like, and then I like looked into it and I was like, oh, this is like real, and so that's kind of where this poem came from. Dear positive energy babes, manifesting doesn't work for genocides, and you can't sage white phosphorus out of your lungs.
Oh!
No amount of good energy will pour water into an empty cup. And you try not killing the vibe when bombs are killing loved ones around you. Starving families can't hear their inner child over the sound of their stomach begging for food. And no amount of downward dog will relieve the tension of wondering if your child is next to die. How can I claim the universe loves me when my people are massacred and the universe is a bystander? When it stands by and rewrites us as unfortunate casualties of war? When to love me is to love the Palestinian in me, and and I'm afraid the universe is white and does not date outside its race. If my words were truly powered, the end of this pencil would erase every missile set to implode. My tongue lashing would incapacitate the entire IOF. My matchstick teeth would light up Gaza in a blaze of electricity. Running my mouth backwards would reverse the flow of cut-off water, reverse the river and sea of time, negate freedom, chance, and war crime rhymes. If my tongue were truly power, then to open my mouth and speak would set my people free. This is called The Particulars of Sound. I think about the Sudanese man who, so horrified by the genocide happening there, lit himself on fire to show it to the world. Then nothing. No cameras, no think pieces, no live coverage or updates, not a single debate or protester chanting, "Free, free Sudan." As far as the West was concerned, he was a fallen tree that never made a sound. And they didn't tune in to his Baba's wails, hear his mama choking on her tears, but listen to the sum of everyone he's ever loved and been loved by, keen a symphony of grief. And over here, in another American-sponsored genocide, how strange this feeling. Salt water I gulped down, a meal laced with poison, of gratitude for biased news coverage, for empty platitudes from politicians who never break character, to be spoken of at all. Grateful they've watched long enough to know the sound our dead bodies make as they hit the ground. This poem I actually wrote in one of Talisha's workshops. What kind of memory? The kind that has teeth for protection, and grooves and divots brought on by old age. Recalls not knowing their last would be last, regrets not savoring their final turnkey kiss, would swing the door wide open for you, you whose last was also last, who carried it from camp to America or Germany, or anywhere really, it's all the same, and its wrongness, and its not homeness. When they tore him down to rubble, razed the brick and mortar of his body to the ground, it was 100,000 miles safely tucked away. Had been years since its teeth had tasted the lock of his mouth. When they murdered him, it didn't break. No, it vibrated. Changed from key to tuning fork. Death does that, you know, transforms and leaves just enough of you for everyone to think you still are what you were before. A key, an opening, an invitation, not an eternal vibration of anger or sorrow or grief. Really, it's all the same, especially to you who carried it and us who inherited it, whose bodies remember when the first brick was cast. Bodies that hold our Sidi and Jiddo and Teta's vibration still, whose hands carry keys to homes that no longer exist, keys who sing about the catastrophe of belonging, how we will always be longing, how we've been forced to make refugee camps out of the palms of our hands. I'll do this one because I really love it. 5 times a day you would take a break from noisy kids and needy mouths, a house in mind that never slept. 5 times a day we crowded around the bathroom door, watched you tie back your brown gold hair and start wudu. Then to the living room where you slipped on a shapeless gown and a shawl to cover your hair. 5 times a day I watched you transform and thought of those long glass candles they sold at the supermercado down the road. How you looked just like the sainted women stuck to them. How you smoothed the prayer rug with the same tenderness you smoothed our hair. How you bent and swayed and kneeled to a song we couldn't hear. If someone had told us back then that God was a woman, we would have looked at you. And let's see. Okay, wait, I'll do one more mock because I actually really like this poem. I think I've read it out before. Okay. Last night you told me something must have happened for Mama to turn cold on you for so long. No protests, no, it's not personal. No amount of magic weaving or storytelling can convince you otherwise. You've been turning the cheek for so long you can't see how Allah lives inside her, mixed in with the flour under her nails and the hollow of her ears when she makes wudu, cupped in her palms at the end of salah. You don't understand that Allah built the moon in her image when he saw how she got her light from her sons, that he loves her a little more than most. His mama understands impossible choices too, knows what it means to kill one child so the rest can be saved. And that's gonna be my final one. And this is like, this was inspired by actually the title of the what's it called? The anthology. Heaven Looks Like Us. And yeah, there we go. And that title came from a poem called from the same name, Heaven Looks Like Us, by Fargo Nassim Tabaki. Really good poem. And so yes, that's where this originated from. Heaven looks like us. Heaven looks like the little boy carrying pieces of his brother in a backpack dyed in blood. And heaven looks like the shivering toddler staring in silence as his body tries to recover. And heaven is a fine mist of red where a laughing Palestinian girl used to be. And heaven is the now unrecognizable bodies from chemical weapons. And heaven is only heaven if everyone you love is there. If there are no gaps at the dinner table. If there is a dinner to set on the table. All to say is one man's hell is another man's heaven. If you don't believe that cliche, then I urge you to look up videos of Israelis going to the most popular lookout, bringing chairs and popcorn and soda pop, cheering with every bomb detonated, with every white cloud of phosphorus, not so far removed from the family days they made of lynchings, not so far removed from sundown towns who still have receipts of our siblings being sold. I urge you to look up the origins of the word barbaric, or how a faggot went from a bundle of sticks to a person burning. If you don't believe me, then what is colonialism if not a pharaoh with a god complex? If not the truth made plural, by which I mean they have convinced us there is no difference between a truth and the truth. And if instead you believe that cliche about the world being heaven or hell and how you define it, then I urge you to consider the heaven of your outfit of the day, the heaven of your summer watermelon, the heaven of being able to find yourself in places like Thailand or Vietnam or Bali. I urge you to search for the hells hidden within each of your heavens, to search outside of rather than for yourself. I urge you to see how skillfully they use tools like science and civilization and economy to cosign evils upon evils, how they weave webs out of words designed to ensnare our struggle, to suffocate our resistance, how they have created hells that used to be heavens of Gaza and Sudan and Congo, all in the name of, in service to, in worship for, to keep your heaven running. And before you think I am blaming you, let me reassure you I don't. At least not more than, not nearly as much as they, the majority of it reserved for they that run the show. I think you know who I mean. And like any victim of domestic violence, it is not your fault politicians sold this country to the highest bidder. It is not your fault minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. It is not your fault your taxes are used to commit horrific atrocities. It is simply your responsibility, your time, past time, to do something about it. And before you feel overwhelmed and hopeless at the helplessness of it all, I beg you to consider how the entire ocean, formed from a single drop of rain that fell from a primeval storm, followed by another, then another, rain that continued to fall for centuries into the hollows of the earth. And yes, the obvious metaphor here is that each one of you is the raindrop, but the more hidden, perhaps most important, is the gravity keeping the ocean from leaving the planet. That's all I have. I have Facebook, but I never use it. And so yes, follow me on there. And